Number of members with a right to vote, 183. Number of members absent, 95. Number of members present and voting, 58. Number of abstention, 30. Number of vote in favor, 58. Number of vote against, 0. Therefore, the amendment are adopted by 58 votes to 0 with 30 abstentions.
There are 183 countries who have the right. There are 95 countries who are absent. So 88 countries have voted. So I would like to confirm with you whether we have already reached the quorum.
When we talk about 95 being absent, that would include those members who are in the room but did not raise their nameplates either for a yes, a no, or an abstention. So those who were in the room and simply did not participate in the vote are sort of marked as absent from the vote, but they are present for a quorum. It is the sovereign right of any member state sitting here not to participate in a vote, not to raise their nameplates. It's not for the Secretariat or indeed the Chair to question that. They're entitled to do so. And we can only count the numbers that we have. So the numbers that you read are not indicative of whether there is a quorum present or not, because, as I say, the number of members that we read out as being absent are 95, but that includes those who are genuinely absent and those who are simply not participating in the vote at all. The vote has now closed, so there's no way to go back to it in any event. The result has been closed and announced by the Chair.
The quorum, I think, is 50 plus, huh? So what is our quorum? Do we have a quorum?
Quorum for this meeting is 96 for voting. That's 50% plus, I beg your pardon, 50% plus 1.
I'm asking about the quorum on the amendments yeah. Did we reach on the amendments of Mexico? Did we reach the quorum or not yet?
The results of the voting do not disclose whether there was a quorum or not. As I explained before, in respect of the earlier question, because of the way the votes are counted, it's not possible to establish firmly whether there was or the votes don't disclose that themselves. What we did was we checked a quorum at the beginning of the meeting, and if any member state wishes to question the quorum, then we will do as we would do now if you asked us to, which is to check the quorum. So yes, there was a quorum during the meeting which is carried on.
I need to know what is the limit, how many countries should vote for the amendments to be adopted. Even some countries, they are here, but they did not vote. They did not raise the flag either with or against, so they are counted to be absent. They did not participate in this vote. So the quorum is among those who said yes or no or abstain.
The required majority is a simple majority of the members present and voting. And that is a majority of those who vote either yes or no. We do not count abstentions and we do not count those who are absent in establishing that. So there were, I think, 58 member states who voted yes or no. In fact, they all voted yes. So you needed a majority of 58 on that vote for the motion to be carried. And of course, it was 58-0. So the actual majority required would have been 29.
Well, according to the classification of the legal for the voting, it's either accept, yes, refuse, no, abstain, and absent. Absent is absent. or you want to say absent for voting and present for not voting? I don't understand. My question is that right now we are going to count for the quorum. And my question is why we didn't do that before the first voting?
The practice in the Health Assembly is not to proactively count for a quorum unless requested to do so by a member state. So that's the consistent practice before all the votes that we do. You did, however, hear at the beginning of our session that the chair checked whether a quorum was present. We do not have a dynamic system of checking who's coming in and out of meetings. If the meeting considers that the quorum may have dropped, then a separate quorum count can be taken.
I think the quorum must be 50 plus 1, half of the members.
I can answer that question. In some bodies, that would be the case, that you would need to have a majority of the members, full stop. That is not what is in our rules of procedure. Rule 69 provides that each member shall have one vote in the Health Assembly. For the purposes of these rules, the phrase members present and voting means members casting a valid affirmative or negative vote. Members abstaining from voting are considered as not voting. And the required majority in this case is set out in Rule 72, which says, except as stipulated otherwise in these rules, decisions on other questions, that's questions that don't require a 2/3 majority, shall be made by a majority of the members present and voting, which, as defined in Rule 69, is those members who are present and voting and, who are cast a valid affirmative or negative vote. So the majority is a majority of those who vote yes or no. All other numbers are ignored. So abstentions, absence are not counted towards that figure, as defined in Rule 69 of our Rules of Procedure. And that can be the case even if that number is less than 50% of the members who are entitled to vote. That's why we tell you at the beginning how many members are entitled to vote, and we also tell you what the combined number of those absent. And yes, you're right, we should say it's those absent and those who are present but not voting, but we will do that for the next round.
Is there something in the rules of procedure saying that the quorum must be asked so we can count? Anyhow, again, there was a question, or there is a statement said by the legal that the quorum is 96, I think. Yes. Do you have a proof of that?
Well, when I said the quorum is 96, that's how many members need to be present for there to be a quorum. So that's the question. If a quorum is being challenged, we can take a quorum count at this stage.